giving me grammatical masturbation issues. I mean, this... we gotta...
Oh, what a lead-in. Welcome back to Whistle While You Dork. I'm your master of ceremonies and audio stylings, Brandan Ray. And with me, as always, is Drew D'Amelia with his jingly drink.
Yeah.
This time, Drew has a word of the day before we start recording. Why don't you tell us what that particular word is?
Brandon, I don't know if you're ready for this.
I don't think I'm ready for this jelly.
Oh, fuck. Wait, it went away. Oh, crap. Hold on. Stall for the next 3 seconds.
All right, I'll do that. I'll do this.
Okay, we're good.
No, you got it? Okay.
Partite.
Partite.
Partite. Can I get a definition, please?
It's an adjective. Divided into parts, usually into a specified number of parts.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's... Oh, okay. I get it. Like the tripartite pizza.
Yeah.
Nice.
That
doesn't count as the use, by the way.
The hexapartite group of pals.
Yes.
Or, I guess, you know, it's not like they started as one human being and we divided into 6. That doesn't quite make sense.
Sexual reproduction. Oh, it's so disturbing.
Yeah, that's going to be a tricky one to incorporate. I don't know.
Oh, well.
But we'll see where we go.
To this week's High on Knowledge, trying to make it a little more, I don't know, pub trivia-like, and less like, oh, this isn't kind of interesting. So the Oscars, they give out awards for actors, and sadly one gentleman who never got a regular competitive Oscar award was the great actor Peter O'Toole. He was in Lawrence of Arabia, he was Ego and Ratatouille, he was in... I don't want to say the examples that I'm about to use, but...
Honestly, that's the rolling class.
Yeah. But they gave him an honorary Academy Award. But the interesting thing I want to talk is he, to the best of my knowledge, is the only actor to be nominated for Best Actor for playing the same exact person. Not character, but person. Let me explain what I mean. So he was in the play called Becket, which is about King Henry II's relationship with his childhood best friend and soon-to-be named Archbishop Samuel Becket, whom he had executed sort of by accident, and then the Canterbury Tales happened. So he was nominated for that first, I think back in the 50s or 60s, and then he was nominated for playing an older King Henry II in The Lion in Winter. Both The Lion in Winter and Becket are adaptations of stage plays. But he's the only person nominated to being the same person, not character. I think Bing Crosby was nominated for the same actor and the same character and 1 for 1 in How Green Was My Valley or The Bells of St. Mary's or something like that.
Going My Way.
Going My Way.
And then The Bells of St. Mary's.
Yeah. Same character. But not the same person.
I saw both those movies.
And?
I mean, it's hard for a happy-go-lucky character. You're like, wow, this is nice. Look at him whistling to work. And then you're like, beat his wife. Like, it's complicated.
Wait, like the character or him in real life?
Him in real life.
Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, Bing Crosby is a kind of a wife-beating prick.
Read too much on it, but
yeah.
I hear that he was not quite a nice fellow.
Correct.
Which, yeah, it's tough.
Peter O'Toole,
tough, you know?
real nice fellow.
Yeah, it sucks, though. It takes a lot of effort to filter your art based on how often the artists beat their spouses, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is disturbing to think, like, how complicated an issue that is.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, there sure are a lot of artists that hit their spouses.
I mean, well, or just total monsters in general. Look at Sean Penn, look at Casey Affleck, look at...
I was saying the other day, I thought Alec Baldwin did a great voice acting job with The Boss Baby, and you were telling me he's a piece of shit. And I'm like, oh...
Yeah, sorry.
Man.
He doesn't abuse people, but yeah, he's kind of not. He can kind of be a bad boy when he's out in public, shall we say?
Sounds like the bad baby.
Yeah. Also known as me as an infant.
And so, but he played. You're saying he didn't play the same character. Technically, it was the same character.
But it's two different writers, so they're going to approach Henry II in two different ways. So I haven't seen The Lion in Winter, so I really can't compare to Beckett.
Two different movies with the same character. They're like separate universes, I guess you could say, in a weird... Maybe not even
this
separate universes. This is the
Beckett universe, and this is The Lion in Winter universe. And then they crossed over in the Canterbury Tales, the movie.
I'm so excited for the Going My Way cinematic universe. Man, is that gonna be exciting.
Boy howdy.
Man, look at this happy guy bringing joy to people. And he's gonna do it 18 times in 18 different places. And he's gonna team up with all the children to spread joy to cancer.
What?
The literal...
Is that what it's about?
Cancer is just gonna be an animate, actual thing.
I thought that was part of the movie.
And they're gonna sing it to make it happy, not to kill it or make it stop killing people. They want to cheer up cancer. That's where this is going. In my very brief pitch.
All right.
I see no flaws in it. Nothing to work on. Right? It's all good.
No. But that brings us to our next recurring segment, Factual Truths.
Oh, we're gonna have too many. We're gonna have unless we skip fuck yeah this week. We're gonna have 5 segments.
5 segments? Well, I mean, these first ones are micro-ish ones.
That's true, but we've never had that many. It's gonna be a record.
We'll try to squeeze it.
I feel like adding in another one just to go really crazy.
Let's go with Factual Truths. So this is back when I was really young. I think it was like 9 or 10. And my sister would go to this dance studio up north of here. And I had to sit in the waiting room because like parents couldn't observe. The dancers, need their privacy in the dance studio. And it really annoyed me because like the class was only like 45 minutes, but to like a 9 or 10-year-old, like it's an eternity. And like that was just my Thursday, like for several years of my life. But one time I pretended like I was going to the bathroom, but then I went over to the door where the dance practice was happening, and I listened in, but I pressed myself up against a vent too much, and it sort of made a clanging noise. And then one of the girls in the studio was like, "Is that a boy?" And I'm like, "Oh no, they're onto me." So I ran back into the waiting room, buried my face in the couch to hide, and then my sister's dance teacher, who was kind of a mean person, came back in and like yelled at my mom. Not like yelled, but like was like, if he can't stay in the waiting room, then blah 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 blah. He has to like stay in here. They need the privacy. And I got chastised for that. Wouldn't you know, like a month later, I was walking by the studio and the door was open, and I was like dancing along with them, and then I was invited in to do a class with them, and I did a class. So easy come, easy go. It was just like Taekwondo, only no kicking or punching.
A lot of things can describe that. I think walking can also be described as Taekwondo without kicking and punching. Okay, well, thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Sounds like it took a real load off your chest to be able to bring that into the world. I forget what Factual Truth is supposed to be again. Is it something
Stories that we've probably never told each other that are from the past.
Were you were in my English class in 7th grade?
In 7th grade, yes.
Yeah. That's where Peekaboo the Flying Mexican was born.
That is true.
I will give no context for that. As far as they know, is a literal birth of an actual flying Mexican. But I digress. All I remember is there was one project. I cannot remember exactly what it is to the best of my knowledge.
Was it outside reading?
It was that big poetry book, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And I went ham on that, man. I really did. And I like to think it showed. Mm-hmm. I did really well in that class, but I remember I worked through my lunch, which I'd never really done before. I went on to never have a lunch again.
But, for real?
Yeah, I never had a lunch period.
Oh, right, yeah. You would just skip class and come hang with us.
Usually, yeah, because I would overschedule, but then like if I really filled up for eating lunch, I'd just skip a class. We actually did...
truancy.
We did the math at the end of the year, and it turned out I had skipped 2% of my entire senior year. It's like, oh, fuck, that was maybe 1% I could live with, but 2 was just a little too much. It wasn't that bad, though. I went to 98% of my classes. That is a lot. It really is. And I was never absent, technically, so that's good.
Yeah.
At least I had perfect attendance. But I digress there, too. At this point at work, when I go to work, I don't even eat, like, the entire 11 hours, and then I just go home. It's horrible for your metabolism. But I like to
breakfast.
Think this is what set that into motion, this story, the very first time I went through my lunch. Mm-hmm. But what happened is I had the lunch, because I wasn't used to not bringing a lunch. I was planning on working on it and having just enough time to go eat. Mm-hmm. But I didn't. And so I went, fuck, how am I going to have my lunch? And think about it. Okay, well, that's the other thing I should point out. There were no more lunch periods after that, because that was 7th period.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, what would you do? All right, you have a lunch. It's 8th period. How do you eat it?
On the bus.
Well, what I did... the only place I could think of to successfully eat this lunch was in the bathroom. So I went into the larger handicap stall in the bathroom, and I get out my thermos of SpaghettiOs. And to my dismay, this was the day my dad had forgotten to pack a spoon. So from the potty, I slurped SpaghettiOs with meatballs out of my thermos. And I just remember thinking, this is gotta be on the same level as Rock Bottom. If it's not Rock Bottom, it has to be aligned with Rock Bottom.
With meatballs.
It's just a profoundly sad moment in my life. But I remember thinking, this is hilarious.
I thought you were going to end it with, like, oh yeah, and then someone walked in
no,
and thought I was eating in secret.
It did vaguely smell of feces the entire time, which is not an aroma. Well, I guess it is an aroma you might associate with SpaghettiOs, but it's usually not that strong. Chef Boyardee does better than that, man.
Yeah.
Only a little feces.
Let's a spice a feces. We miss you, Spice Man. Anywho.
Who's Spice Man?
The outgoing White House press secretary.
Oh. What about the...
Sean Spicer, the Spice Man.
What about the other guy that just got fired?
Oh, he's the communications director.
Oh,
Scaramouche.
Scaramouche and Spice.
There was... I made this joke a week ago
I already know what it is.
Yes. I made this joke a week ago when Scaramucci was appointed communications director, and my Facebook status was Scaramouche, it's like, well, looks like we got a new communications director, hashtag Scaramouche, will you do the White House press briefing Fandango? Today, the headline of an admittedly a jokey newspaper or online article said, President fires Scaramucci for not doing the Fandango. Yeah. And I'm like, vindication.
You are right. It's got to be something a ton of people have thought about.
I'm usually not the most original when I have jokes come to my mind, but when I do, I prefer to use them in witty Facebook posts.
It's got to be as widespread as people calling Avatar. It's Smurfs meets Dances with Wolves. I'm like, wow, really? Like, shut the... I don't like Avatar. I fucking slept during the climax.
Wow.
But shut the fuck up. I'm tired of hearing Smurfs and Dances with Wolves. Why can't people just be fucking blue?
Why can't it be the Snorks and Pocahontas?
Snorks? Good lord.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is that a thing?
The Snorks, yeah, they're a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Are you shitting me? It actually exists?
I'm kidding. I'm not kidding.
Can I look this up?
Yeah, you're looking at it right now.
The Snorks?
Yeah, the Snorks.
Oh, I was gonna take that idea and do something with it.
Da with the Snorks. Da. They're like the Smurfs, but underwater.
Wow.
Yeah, guys, look up Snorks, and if you're not sure what they are, then just you can have the same reaction Drew's having right now.
What do they do out of those things on their head?
They breathe, I think. If I'm thinking of the same thing.
It's like literal straws coming out of their head.
Yeah.
And in one of these promotional pictures, someone's whistling out of it, but they have a mouth. It's like if I whistled out my dick. I'm so confused. Which is
Didn't
how
Flo Rida make a song about that?
whistling out your dick while you're dorking, or while you're snorking, I should say. Oh shit! Whistle while you snork. That works so well.
Oh,
And you thought
it?
we'd never get past get the goat, but we did. We got there,
Yeah,
man.
we got the goat.
Whistle while you snork.
We got the goat and all its acid-alphalus milk. So, today's topic is sort of a catch-all, general sort of discussion. We're going to talk about gaming, most specifically video gaming, and its state now. I'm guessing we're not going to try to get into too much of like gaming culture, but more just the games themselves and where they are at this point in time. Now, to start off, I know you are partial to a very popular mobile game known as
Candy Crush, yes.
Yes, Candy Crush. Pokemon Go.
Actually, for real, I used to have a Candy Crush issue.
You had a Candy Crush crush?
I went to therapy, man. No, but it was fun. There was nothing wrong with the game. It was a lot of fun, and I never paid anything for it. And there were the options too, but I never did.
Yeah.
And I can't say it was ruining my life or anything. It was a fun thing to do while I was waiting and stuff like that. But I just got to a point where I don't know what it was. Maybe I just had a bad lifestyle where I was too easily distracted. And had I started playing Candy Crush at a different time in my life, where I was able to prioritize a little bit better and really jump into the things I'm supposed to do, that it might have gone a different direction. But I've always felt that's been a big issue for me, is, really trying to maximize my output. And something about Candy Crush, I just felt myself playing it at times where I went, can I be doing something else? It's one thing if you're playing it in line at the DMV. It's another thing if you're playing it on your couch at home and you're thinking, there's got to be something else I can do here. And I wouldn't be playing it for hours and hours and hours. It wouldn't even last that long. But just the tiny act of playing it made me feel so unproductive. It was fascinating. Other games don't make me feel that way, but that one did.
Yeah.
There's something about it. Maybe just the fact that it was so flagrant, like, Candy Crush, yeah! There's something about that pride that the game had, and that lack of subtlety that made me feel,
Well, there's a lot of things to say about mobile gaming, but what would you describe your video gaming experience as through, like, adolescence, and, like what games did you like? What games did you play? What do you look for?
It's super limited. Really, really limited. I would say I spent almost all of high school and a majority of college not gaming at all. I started when I was young. I started with Pokemon Gold. Might be my favorite game ever. I replayed it recently. It's so good. And a disclaimer, I'm enamored with Pokemon. I think that's some great shiz. Some great snork. But at the time, I was young, so basically any gift I got I would use, whether or not I actually enjoyed it. So I had the Little Mermaid 2 pinball, and that was
For
a Game Boy Advance.
Oh, wow.
And that was a clunky cartridge, but I would...
Wow, I didn't know that game existed.
Well, it was for Game Boy Color, but you could play it in Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
I did start very briefly with Game Boy Color. I went to Game Boy Advance, and that was all I had until I personally got myself a 3DS just a couple years ago, so I could play some of the newer Pokemon games. But I really remember liking Mario a lot, and recently I've played some of the newer Mario games. They're not that new at this point, but like the new Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
Those are all the new games I own. That's it, basically. New Mario, sort of new Mario, and the new Pokemon stuff. Not even X and Y, just Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby, and beyond that. But back then, there's Shrek Castle in the Castle. There's a Toy Story 2 game, Atlantis the Lost Empire, the video game, Miss Pac-Man. And Pac-Man's good. But it was limited, and I remember in my high school days, I was starting to feel self-conscious because I was in a relationship with someone that played a lot of video games, and she was having eyes for someone that also played a lot of video games. I'm like, I'm gonna get cheated on, so I'm like, maybe I should learn how to play video games, which is something, it's just worth being cultured in that regardless. And these days, that's what I try to do. I never had big consoles like Xbox or PlayStation or any of that stuff, though, and I tried getting into some of these games like Skyrim and Saint Row 4, I think, and Call of Duty, but there was something about the traditional RPG, and it's weird because Pokemon is technically an RPG.
Oh, yeah. Turn-based RPG.
Yeah, but that, I don't know. There was something about exploring a world and stuff like that that wasn't exciting to me. I don't think I liked the idea of being able to go all around. I just liked having a fast pace. This is your objective. Do it. I don't know why. I don't know why exactly, but I think I'm coming around to it a little bit more. I recently played Resident Evil 7, I think it was called.
Let me just try to clarify. You like straight line objective, like minimal side questing type games? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, generally.
And why such a fascination for Pokemon then? Or is that the exception?
Well, I view Pokemon as that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
You do?
But for the most part, when I play Pokemon,
side questing in Pokemon, and like you can. It's an open world. You do have a linear thing like getting to the Elite Four, but
it's super linear in that you're going from gym to all right. You have to unlock this. You have to do this. There's a very linear story attached to it. You can do things on the side. It is possible, but I just never did that. And maybe I was approaching these other RPGs the wrong way. Maybe there was a very linear story that I was just missing because I was the controls were alien to me, so my natural instinct was just walk around, figure things out, and that made the game feel aimless in a way, where maybe if I had more experience with the controls, it wouldn't feel as aimless. I think I'm coming around to it, though. I feel like a lot of these RPGs have a lot in common with Pokemon, because they're all in the RPG family. I just think it might be a combination of I'm not familiar with the controls, not familiar with the 3D aspect of it, and other such things. So I'm learning. I can't even officially say what I do and don't like in terms of game other than I really like Pokemon and Mario. I'm big on Nintendo, I guess.
I think I'm with you there on like I like linear. Like there's something about sandbox games or MMOs or racing games even, I guess, that are just if I'm given like too much to do, like I would just get nothing done. Like, and I like, and that's sort of the issue I have with Pokemon is that even though it is linear, I never really quite got into it as a kid because there's so much grinding. Like there's so much to do. There's so much you can do in order to like level up your Pokemon and like a million ways to go about going the game. And like because I'm usually confronted with that, like I'll just go do it, and then like I feel like I don't get enough out of it from it. That's why the games that I like are Zelda and the Batman Arkham series. Like Zelda has been with me since age 4. Like I wasn't playing it, but I was watching my dad play it all the time, and it's just the classical adventure thing. They keep trying to change it up and make it new with game mechanics. I haven't played Breath of the Wild. It looks fantastic. Unfortunately, I needed the new console for that. But aside from Zelda and the Batman Arkham series, the only like new game I've played in the past half decade has been The Last of Us. And that's because I saw the reviews for it going off the chart. And I will say this, like, that also has a pretty linear style thing too. Yeah, and I like how you can upgrade your weapons and like you're not going all over the place. It's pretty focused and story driven. That game though, that was an experience to play. I've never felt more immersed in a game. I've never felt more connected to the world or the characters or the environment. It was just a great game, and I can't wait for the sequel to come out. So I guess a more accurate statement is like Zelda, Batman Arkham, and Last of Us. I guess now that Batman Arkham's being discontinued, that's what's a good replacement. So I'm wondering if maybe certain persons of our generation feel a sort of disconnect with gaming. Maybe because it's a simple matter of our tastes are our tastes, and for one reason or another, the industry isn't catering to that. But then I'm wondering, well, what is mobile gaming doing to sort of encapsulate us in that? I don't really play mobile games. It's just I probably should download it. It would help pass certain periods of time faster.
I have some recommendations.
Yes.
It didn't start as a mobile game, but Exploding Kittens is quite a good mobile game. Monument and Monument 2, there was a sequel released recently. Those are actually... Mm-hmm. Those are really good. Mm-hmm. Just totally... You have to pay for them. It's a one-time purchase of like $4. Mm-hmm. I really, really would... The art in it is amazing. Mm-hmm. And it's fascinating in terms of the puzzles they present. Mm-hmm. It's just... It's a really nice and like a weirdly heartwarming experience playing those games.
Wow.
I didn't even...
Puzzle games? Really?
Yeah, for real. I didn't even get past the second one because I'm saving it. Because I don't want to get through the whole thing already because it's so good. Pokemon Go, of course. I didn't continue to play Candy Crush. I got to level 400 and refused to go past that. So...
His therapist told him to cut it off there. So
yeah. Well, my therapist told me to cut my wrists. And
that's terrible.
Get it? 'Cause I'm hopeless. Laugh at my suicide jokes, but Pokemon Go though is what I'm currently into. Mm-hmm. I will freely admit I've paid some money into it. Not a whole lot. I tried
just $500.
I tried spending $10 on it recently, and they accidentally double charged me $20, and I wasn't even that mad. I'm like, just gonna have to buy more stuff. And I know it'd take months of emails to get them to take it back, but that's the thing. I don't know. Maybe per year I spend about, and it's only been around for, it's only really been around for a year.
Yeah.
So I guess total, what have I spent on it? Maybe... Ooh. Maybe $60, $70. But here's the thing. You're going out to a restaurant. You're having a good time for like maybe an hour or two. You're buying a meal, a drink. Mm-hmm. You got a tip. That's going to be maybe $20. Maybe a little bit less. You can do that maybe 3 times for the same amount of money. For me, like, that money goes a long way for Pokemon Go. Literally, like, you have to... I'm usually buying incubators to get my eggs to hatch. Mm-hmm. Like, it goes a literal long way. And for me, it's so much fun. It's not the same case for everybody, but when I'm doing Pokemon Go, I'm having a blast, and I don't even need to be with people. It's just so exciting for me. It's so cool. It's so fun. So for me, honestly, it's some of the most, in terms of leisure, worthwhile purchases I make in a year.
That's I appreciate you sharing that, and I totally see that. But can I just ask? And if you can't, you can't. I'm gonna ask anyway. Why?
Why do I have fun?
Why? Yeah. Why? What is the source of your fun and enjoyment? To me, a person who doesn't. mobile game.
It's tough because I'd have to explain my fascination with Pokemon in general, because that's what it is really.
Right.
I never spent money on Candy Crush.
Well, I mean, Pokemon and the others.
I
mean, the puzzle game, that's heartwarming. Like, I'd be remiss to call anything heartwarming that wasn't a Disney movie.
Well, Monument, honestly, for me, it was recommended by the Toy Story 3 director. I just happened to be looking at his Twitter one day. Mm-hmm. I saw him recommend it, and I went, yeah, all right. And I got it. I'm like, $4, whatever. It's $4. It's really not that much. Mm-hmm. It was awesome. It was just really, really good. Mm-hmm. And so to me, it's totally worth $4. Mm-hmm. I can give up 8 gumballs for an amazing game. Like, yeah, sure. I can give up a pack of Band-Aids just let things hurt a little bit more. Okay, maybe not a pack of Band-Aids. But
I need those.
I need the Band-Aids. But to me, it's a super low price for what you're getting. And you're getting... Basically, I'd call it roughly a 2-hour experience. You're paying about $1 for an awesome, immersive half hour. That's super worth it to me when it comes down to it. In other games, you're paying $60 for a good 7 hours, so it's basically like $5 for every half an hour. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential for good deals in terms of spending money on mobile games, but I must report I have a very limited experience. Mm-hmm. Pokemon Go, though. Why Pokemon in general? To me, there's something so creative and fun about all the different designs. I think that stimulates me artistically.
Even the bad ones?
I don't even hate the bad ones that much, because it's still a design. There has yet to just be TV, and it's just a literal television. Like, what the fuck? A lot of people knock the ice cream cone, but I'm like, they made an ice cream cone cute and literal ice. Like, ice cream cones aren't icicles.
People knock the ice cream cone Pokemon and the garbage Pokemon a lot.
There's really no design. I can't say there's no design I dislike. There's some designs I think are annoying. I
dislike Zubat. And not just because it's Zubat.
The guide Pokemon. I don't know what they're called, but basically all those fucking dogs that are floating in clouds.
Oh, the Raikou, Suicune, and Entei?
Nope. No? This might be beyond your time.
I guess so. What gen are they from?
The 5th gen.
Okay, yeah, I'm lost kinda after 3.
There's something
I know what other Pokemon
them.
Are, but I'm just 3.
It's basically just these really buff dogs that are inside a cloud. It's so stupid.
I think I know what you might be talking about. Yeah.
But I don't hate a lot of the popular ones. I think Voltorb is probably, I'm not even being facetious here, probably the most creative Pokemon design there is. Maybe Mimikyu tops it. But I mean that's something to get into for another day.
Mimikyu's creepy. But that
I love me some Mimikyu.
That is a story for another day.
But yeah, it stimulates me artistically, and to the typings and how every Pokemon has a different kind of advantage. Like, one might have a really high attack, one might have half a high attack, half a high special defense, or something like that. Everything is different, and there's so much nuance that goes into it that it just creates this very varied experience. And that's a lot of fun for me. I was just playing Pokemon before you got here. Not Pokemon Go, but Pokemon Sun and Moon. I was just battling. And it's a lot of fun. It's always different. That's the best way I can describe it. It's difficult to put into words, but that's the best I can do, really. And with Pokemon Go, there's not as much battling, really, but it's the same thrill of trying to get these things that can battle, and I think the thought of I could use these to battle is really exciting. Just it's silly a little bit. It's kind of like I want to collect them all. I want to. It's basically
best marketing scheme ever.
Makes as much sense as collecting bottle caps, collecting stamps, things like that. I think I've always had that in me, and I really try to limit it. I don't want to collect everything in the world, but Pokemon, as of this point in my life, has been the coolest possible thing I could collect, and it has not really run me into the ground financially. It's really not so bad. Probably in total this year, I'll spend $80 on Pokemon, because I'll probably buy the new Pokemon game coming out in November, and then I'll have that Pokemon Go money, and I don't think that's too bad.
No.
That's not much more expensive than your average Xbox game or something like that.
I like how you explain it in terms of economy, in terms of resource management, because you're like, X amount of money is going to give me this amount of playtime and that much value out of it. I can see myself wanting, I'm me being you at this point, I can see myself wanting to spend money on it to get some more advantages because I enjoy collecting things. And because I enjoy collecting things and the combinations therein, this is why I get so much out of it. I think it's and that's very charming. I'm trying to think now why I like some of the games that I like. I guess I like Zelda so much because I always like fantasy. I like Batman because I love the idea of being a superhero, and not just being a superhero, but being a tactician. I like being a tactician. That is to say, I haven't played Advance Wars. Maybe I'd enjoy that, or Fire Emblem. That's more of a strategy based RPG as opposed to a traditional turn based one. Zelda, I think, just comes down to the story. I find it very timeless. Story's big for me, which I wouldn't say going to the game, the story is the most important thing, but I think I equate it with gameplay a little too much. And Shigeru Miyamoto, I think, was quoted as saying, like, but at the start of like any gaming project, he goes, or I don't know if it's a tenet of his or if it's just a general practice, or if he'll literally send people back to the drawing board if this isn't there. But he's like, gameplay first, story second, because if it's not fun to play, who cares? If the story is War and Peace.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess the Arkham tactician style gameplay is something that just resonates with me. I like problem solving as well as action. Like, I can't have, just straight puzzles, although apparently with Monument I can, and I'll have a real heartwarming experience at the end of it. And Zelda, I think, maybe it's just having it always been with me since the beginning. And Mario at the same time. Mario's just, I'd say it's evolved less in terms of overall gameplay, and the amount that it has just been very unnuanced, shall we say. But yeah, I like the new Super Mario Brothers. They're really trying to make it co-op family stuff.
I'm talking the stuff on the DS. That's
the DS? Yeah. You haven't played it on the Wii then?
No.
I've played a little bit, I think, with my sister.
I want to give it a shot. I really do.
It's an interesting thing, because then you're like, you might like it. You're going back to resource management. If you're playing co-op, you got to think, oh, well, if this person keeps dying, they're going to steal all my 1-ups, and then we won't have any 1-ups, so we need to like plan ahead for, what kind of special items we might want to use in order to get through this level and defeat Bowser. But yeah. Any final thoughts on this gaming extravaganza?
Well, it all sounds very partite to me.
In what sense?
Games are a whole, and then they're broken up
into mobile and console games.
I don't think this word's gonna work today. It's a very specific word.
One of these shows, we'll get it.
Hold on. Let's find a conclusion to this segment by very bluntly fabricating an excuse to use our word of the day.
Okay.
Partite. It's a specific sectioning of something that is a whole. I think that the multipartite of Pokemon games is a really fascinating example of how different games can really share the same history and the same values while each doing something different, and not different in a way where they top each other, but they're all great, equal, unique experiences. That's sort of... It didn't even work
Except
that well
Black
as a
2 and White
conclusion. To be fair, I didn't even play those. I hear they're really good, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they're better than Black and White. I loved Black and White.
Yeah.
They were so good. Pokemon Gold is a really, really good game, but Black and White might technically, my emotions out of it, be the best.
Nice.
But yeah, in conclusion, I don't know. I'm not much of a gamer. I can't speak too much for the history. I got a friend that buys an absurd amount of games a year. I don't even really know how he affords it, but he does, and he could probably say more interesting things than me. But for me, I'm looking to keep playing more games. I do not frown upon them. I didn't not play them as a kid because I thought they were lame. My parents just never really bought me the consoles, and I never really thought to go against that. So I just played what I had, and that was it. But I really enjoyed Resident Evil 7, and that was a very different type of game for me. It was a horror game, for one. And I'm looking forward to the journey. I think that's what's most exciting, is because I didn't spend so much of my childhood playing a lot of games. I've got a lot left to explore.
Nice. I might be the opposite. I spent a lot of my childhood playing video games. One would say too much, and I have crippling social skills because of that. Yes?
I'm raising my hand.
Drew's raising his hand.
Rock Band. That was a big one. I never had it, but I loved it. And I remember me and you. That's probably the most video game experience we had, because you had Beatles Rock Band. I'm like, can we please play Beatles Rock Band?
And our mutual friend is actually pretty beast on the drums.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a good segment. I think we have a little bit time to end on this pretty good note with some fuck yeah this week.
Yeah, where's the music going to be this time?
I don't know. You tell me. Is it going to be right here?
I think it's up to you.
Right here. How about...
It's time for you to fuck with me.
How about right here?
Right there?
There.
And not here.
Yeah, not here, there.
Come on and gather round and come on and gather round and come on and gather round. It's time to fuck yeah this week. Yes.
Okay, so back there.
So back there, yeah. What I said.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, that works. We'll do it back there.
We'll do it back there. You got a story, son?
Yes, I do.
This is Fuck Yeah This Week, where we talk about positive experiences that we've had in the past week or so that have been brightened our overall experience.
So, what was the word of the week last week?
As I recall, congenital.
Yes. I was having a conversation with one of my good friends. She's 40 years older than me, but that doesn't change our friendship. And she literally used that word casually in conversation. And when she used it, I'm like, oh, fuck! It was amazing. When she slipped it in naturally, so much better than we did.
Did you react that way, or was your mind like, oh?
My face did not tell a thing, but fireworks are going off in my head. And I'm hoping the same thing happens with Partite this week. I'm hoping for... See, maybe the goal should be we give the word of the week and then just cross our fingers someone else uses it in that week. But that was awesome. Short and sweet, but just the fact she used the word of the week. And I don't know if I'll ever hear anyone use that word again in the next 10 years. I mean, maybe that's an exaggeration, but how often do you hear someone say congenital?
Can you give me the sentence?
I knew you would ask that.
Sorry.
And I knew in that moment, I went, fuck, I need to remember this context because Brandon's going to ask me what it was. And so
I'm so predictable.
I half-assed trying to remember it and didn't. I think it was something about personality, I think. Just a certain personality trait, I think. Though I might be completely wrong. Yeah. It's my fuck yeah of the week.
Nice. My fuck yeah this week It came a couple weeks ago. We were taking my great grandmother out for her 95th birthday. We went to a local bistro, and it was a good time. We don't get to see a lot of her. She's in a home now, but she's still going, still mentally pretty much mostly there. She has glaucoma, so she can't really see directly in front of her. But my immediate family's there and her, and she likes to go to this bistro all the time. And the waitress comes over to go to the bill or something, and we mentioned that to her, that it's her birthday. And the waitress is like, "Oh wow, how old is she turning?" And we say to her, "Oh, she's turning 95 today." And she, with the gusto of a person who has told people no many, many times before, she goes, "No, 75." And I was like, "Oh yes." Here's the thing. I hope she was being like making a joke and not being absent-minded or forgetful or something like that. I'm erring on the side is that she was being funny serious.
I hope so too.
I really do. I've been having second thoughts about that, but we cracked the hell up at that, and I thought that was incredibly funny.
Let's hope that she knew she wasn't 75.
Me too.
All right, so we could end there with just 4 segments.
We could, but
we could jump into my new segment, or I could put off that new segment and do another one that I thought of over the course of this podcast.
Okay.
Which I'm tempted to do.
Let us know in the comments what segment you think we should do next.
But I don't care. You cannot control the way this turns out. It's too late.
Let's go with the one you just thought of because of experience. I don't no idea what segment he's going to debut. We had an idea for one, but we're running a bit short on time here.
We'll do that one next time.
Yeah.
Or we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how this goes. We have enough time for things to get crazy. But people ask me, "How are you?" all the time. Mm-hmm. And I used to just go, "Good, good." And I thought, that's rude. I should ask them how they are too. So I go, "Good, you?" They go, "Good." Cool. Mm-hmm. It's so boring. So boring to me. I know it's the polite thing to do, and when people ask how you are, they don't actually want an involved answer. Mm-hmm. But that's always the answer I want to give.
Yeah.
I always want to give a really engaging answer. Not even necessarily a true answer, but something besides good. So I think this section should be called "How Are You?" Mm-hmm. And basically, we ask each other the question, and we have to give an answer that's not the lame good. We have to give like a real interesting answer.
Okay.
So you can start off if you want to by asking me.
Okay. I'll ask you.
And I haven't prepared a thing.
Drew, how are you?
Honestly, I am a little inebriated because I made a strong drink. Had like 100 proof Southern Comfort. I think I'm saying that right. So 50% alcoholic content. Just nice stuff. Peach schnapps. Some amaretto in it. And a little bit of sweet and sour mix. I described all these ingredients to my uncle the other day, and every single ingredient went sweet, 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 sweet. And I will agree.
And I put an umbrella in it.
It's a very, very sweet drink. And he wasn't saying sweet as in cool. He was saying sweet as in lots of sugar. And yeah, and it sucks because I had a party last Saturday and somebody really, really wanted me to make a drink for them. And so I made that drink, and they didn't even finish it. They had a fourth of it. 2 people split it. I at least got the load to be shared, but they didn't even finish 75% of it. So it sat on my table in the basement, and I went, I'm going to finish that thing at some point. But I looked at it 5 days later, and it had these little floating chunks in it of something, and I went, oh, so I had to dump it, and it's a lot of liquor, you know what I mean? It's like I just used $4 to wipe my ass, so it sucked, but that's how I am.
You're slightly inebriated, and then told a story.
Yes. See how you could really jump into a conversation with something like that?
Yeah.
So, Brandon, how are you?
I've been better. I'm feeling a little sad for reasons that are a little too personal to share on this podcast. feeling a bit better after doing this podcast. I'm feeling a little jovial, having a good laugh with you and sharing silly, stupid stories. We are recording this a bit earlier than expected because I will be on vacation, so to speak, away from here for about a week to 2 weeks. And we want to do this just so we can get a weekly schedule, which I really appreciate. A little tired from work today. The sadness I felt. If you've ever tried to work sad, it's hard. But at the same time, you feel slightly more focused because you feel like you want to work to distract yourself from how sad you're feeling. But at the same time, you feel pretty sad.
The last time I went through your thing,
Yeah.
I had to leave work the first day I went back.
I did leave work a little bit early today because of that. But I think tomorrow is going to be better. I'm hoping to get some good food with you later and to hopefully call someone.
Yeah, we gotta hash that out. So you want to go for half of trivia? It's fine if you do.
I think I do. I got work in the morning. I know I had work the last time I went with you guys, but I think I should get some rest for this one, and I need to get home to make a call in a quiet place.
If you're sure you want to go for just half of it,
I will. I'm sure.
It's gonna feel lopsided when you leave.
I know,
you know what I mean?
sorry.
But it's okay. It's not unheard of.
Can someone drive you home?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing. I had arranged that entire time. If you ever saw me texting, I was trying to get a DD.
Oh, okay.
And not my initials. But
yeah,
no,
don't drink and drive, guys. It's really
I was being very responsible.
yeah, very responsible.
But if you're going, you'll just be on a DD.
All right.
It's all good.
Okay.
So yeah, look at that. Look at all the conversation that just transpired.
It was such a hell of a conversation.
Yeah. So
You're
that
gonna
was
finish
nice.
the drink and then we're gonna roll out.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
I guess that's about all I had to say about gaming too.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird doing this on a Monday. Usually we record these on Wednesdays. Although,
For all they know, it's done on a Tuesday, and then it comes out on a Tuesday. You're ruining everything. Yeah, I feel vaguely haunted. Like there's something about gaming I didn't say, but
I don't think so. I said pretty much all I had to
I
say.
said my piece. I emphasized Pokemon a whole lot.
Wow. This will be a record
Is it short?
short podcast. So you're welcome.
I was hoping for that.
You're welcome, guys.
How long is it?
52, I think, or 53.
Okay, well, see, we saved up our minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh no, rather we spent too many minutes.
These will roll over.
We're more in debt right now, so we gotta cut corners.
This should go then.
Why'd you cut?
I sawed off your leg.
Oh, all right.
Gotta cut corners, Drew.
So I make cut my wrist joke. That's no good. But you
Because
can cut
this
off-
is humorous.
Wouldn't cut off my leg also kill me? Isn't that also a form of suicide?
Not if we sew it up and,
But
make
if we
sure gangrene doesn't
if we didn't, I'd probably die. It'd be a very awkward form of suicide. Like, wow, he just sawed his leg off. That's really weird. See, that'd be a great teenage drama. Just like
He's gonna have a very odd-shaped coffin.
he'd be able to pluck it out of the bargain bin. That's for sure.
Yep. Good old funeral jokes.